entertainment, and that's the stuff that would be deemed
but the thing is,
disagreeable.
I hear what you're saying, and this argument often comes up. But then the thing is, it's just like, well, if everybody's not watching, do you know what I mean? Like, if everyone's watching everyone's full content, then cool. Then we're on an equal stepping.
You have context.
That's not the same thing. And it's just like you get these headline type stats and things like that are used to make points, but I have to do a whole thesis on this to make a point.
It's not a full thesis. It's like, okay, I just understand a lot where they're coming. I agree. Like sometimes they're a bit rude for me. Like I understand where you're coming from, but it's just when you're running a show, a lot of times, like there are times where I'm very rude to a guest and I cut them off, but it's only because they've interrupted me 10 times. So
unreasonable.
Yeah. and as a show host, like you're very disrespected because you put on all this time into paying the producers, you put all this time into getting the guests, you put all this time and energy and effort just to have a guest that keeps interrupting you. Yeah. And so by the 10th time, you're like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Like that's what most people do.
And a lot of times, like when their clips go viral, like, and I can't remember, I wish I could quote it off the top of my head, but I can't. But the one like rapper that came in that they kicked out that like went super viral. Yeah. It was because like he told them like 10 times to stop talking, and then she wouldn't do it, and she showed up late.
Basic.
Yeah, and she showed up late. Like these guys are pretty big guests for my.
We were there.
Yeah, and these guys were pretty big guests for my channel. They showed up on time, and like it's just, and it's just like. It's like a level of respect, and you don't always see the context of the room.
And I think that's something that most people don't understand about, Myron and Walter, Fresh and Fit, right? They're personal friends of ours. We love them to death. And they have, like, their hearts are in the right place.
Yeah.
They really, really want to help both men and women. I can tell you this as a man who knows them personally.
All right.
But, again, to reiterate your point, that is, like, people have so much entitlement in today's day and age. They really do. Like, oh, I got invited on Fresh and Fit's podcast. Oh, cool. I'm going to rock up late, drink all their alcohol, have my social medias blown up by their 1 million subscriber audience, have all my OnlyFans account blown up by their 1 million subscriber audience, which does happen. We know it happens, right? And they're still going to speak out of line, be disrespectful to Myron because he said something they don't agree with. They're going to be really rude to him and try to talk over the top of him, right? Not obey the house rules like our producer here kind of laid down before. Similar thing, right? It comes from this place of entitlement. It's a real lack of respect.
But those are the women that they're inviting on there. I don't know how you guys can say, and they're your friends, so I feel I'm giving you a lot of grace. I think you're blinded by your friendship with these guys. But if they are really trying to help men, why do they have such a set type of woman that comes onto their show? I
can answer this.
Because they live in Miami.
And then be so horrible to them when you're really trying to help men, when a lot of these men have real problems with women in life. Like they have problems relating to them. And then you have these women who are representative of the beauties and they are allowed to cuss them. Do you not think that actually allows these hermits in their bedrooms with their mum upstairs feeling like I can do this to women as well?
So I actually understand a little bit like how recruiting works. And the thing is, again, as I said in the beginning of the podcast, it's not a good podcast if you don't bring on opinionated people with a conflict of ideas. So when you're recruiting, and I'll say this, like Fresh and Fit, their women on their show are not representative of all women. And I know this from recruiting.
Absolutely.
That's why I say polarity.
But it's because like when you're trying to have a battle of ideas, you want two people on the extremes as much as you can. Like
this would be boring if we all agree. This is so boring.
Like this is what we want.
But we can still have like respectful dialogue.
Right.
Which we have.
The thing.
I think we have.
A lot of we have, and like you guys have been great guests. Like you've been super respectful, and you showed up on time. Like you did everything I could want from a guest. But sometimes, I'm telling. Oh God, these girls,
these ladies,
like they'll interrupt you 1 million times. They'll show up late. But
they had a girl on the other week when I was on it. They had a girl on, and she was she had studied at an Ivy League, and she was very liberal, and she had a very feminist perspective and everything like that. And I don't know, maybe I'm just, biased or whatever, but I didn't see them treating her with disrespect. They allowed her to speak. They allowed her to make her points. She wasn't the archetype. I mean, I think she liked to go out and party or whatever, but she wasn't that archetypal, kind of fresh and fit type girl, really. And I don't think, like, you're presenting it like they're just going for the most egregious examples of that sort of stereotype, and I don't really think that they are. And I think they have them on a lot, but I absolutely do get what you're saying. And we can disagree on it.
From my experience with Myron, like, I started a YouTube channel that I only do it part-time, and before I started, I said to Myron, like, what do you think on this idea? Do you think it's a good idea? I knew it was someone that was going to give me the truth. It was someone that was, I saw always modeling to men and women the truth of things. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to speak to him. And he was so respectful. He said, do you have any more questions? How else can I help you? Like, very different to probably what you're seeing on the podcast, right? Completely different person, really respectful, checking in, how you doing, what's happening. And I would just say that he did say things to me like, how old are you? And I was really concerned because, I'm not a young creator, and I thought that's going to hold me back. And he was like telling me the ways that I could maybe get around that. Nice. And my experience of him was nothing but like respectful.
Yeah, because what they're doing is a lot of these guys that watch this show, they do come for the red meat. But the genius of Fresh and Fit, the genius of Walt, the genius of Myron is that they're selling these guys what they want, but the undertone message is giving them what they need.
Bang. Yep.
And you have to understand, for the guy that's in Indiana and he's 18 and he's probably a bit immature and he likes to see the drama, he's seeing that. But when he goes to, let's say he gets married. Let's say he actually gets married. When he goes and he watches Fresh and Fit, he learns about hypergamy and female nature, which is the untold pillar that a man needs to have in his life, on top of normal competencies. What Walt and Myron are doing is, with extremism, showing that young man in that flyover state in America what to look for in that woman he marries in Indiana, and how to make her stay happy and how to keep the frame with her, because he understands female nature. Now, are they doing it with big glaring red flags and fireworks and WWF wrestling? Yeah. Yes, but without that, they will not tune in, and for that reason, they cannot save those young guys' lives. And I argue, and I really mean this, not only are they saving the young man's life, they're saving the woman's life, and they're saving the life of those children.
Amen.
But I would say the same even for like people like Pearl, right? Pearl's a female creator. She's not agreeing with everyone. She says the truth. Like when I first saw Pearl, didn't I say when I logged into your live chat and I said, Pearl, you just don't care. Like there's a certain entertainment to that. But like from getting to know Pearl, she's a good person. Like what you see isn't always like.
Well, and as an entertainer, you just come at it at like a different angle, because you have to be more extreme in order to get the message out, or people won't watch. Yep. Like for example, what was the title of this show? Ladies, let your man cheat. Because I want people to click on it. Now
we get all of that,
but I'm not even gonna I don't want to date a guy that's cheating. No offense.
It's an attention economy.
What?
We live in an attention.
Yeah,
I get all of that, and I get everything that you guys are saying. I think you're negating though the social responsibilities, because you're like, it's saving these men and these women and these kids, but also what does it say to how men actually respect women? I would say that there is a lot to go against that framework, with the man can do what he wants and the woman must comply to that. The man can sleep with lots of other women, but you can't sleep with men. Like this inequality, I think that's actually like detrimental to just us having a modern society, just being respectful of each other. What their standpoints are so immature, and it comes up whenever they're with somebody who is actually in a relationship and they speak to them, And it's like it doesn't measure up because it's really immature. It doesn't measure up in the real world. So you're putting yourself in the framework as a coach, but what you're teaching people is actually really false, because how do they sustain a relationship? You may get a girl, you may be able to mac her and get her, but how are you sustaining that?
But
It's not
that's
going
what
to work.
you're missing on the Money Mondays and the fitness show.
Yes.
So if you
Money and fitness.
yeah, so they're teaching the money and the fitness and the style and the frame, and the frame really comes from the understanding of how female nature is, how what will drive a woman to do certain things, what keeps her happy.
Money and fitness.
No.
Okay.
It's the third pillar. It's the undertone. So there's all the red meat. There's all the cussing and the swearing and the things that draw people in. But the undertone message is teaching female nature. Another reason that Rolo's such a
But
hero.
they're wrong.
But they're not wrong.
They literally are
They're
almost
absolutely
always
wrong.
wrong.
Female
Female nature.
You could disagree with it.
How
Sorry.
do you think that they're wrong?
I think that they're wrong because it's unrealistic to place yourself as I'm allowed to do whatever I want and you must comply.
But
because
men aren't.
But that's
They
just
aren't.
not life.
Because let me tell you what they're not able to do. Be average, not produce.
Bingo.
Not create a life for a woman where she feels like it's the best life she could possibly live. Because in the event he does not do those things, she is fucking gone.
He didn't even get her in the first place.
Yeah.
I think most red pill content creators agree with me when I say leave the bums. If your dude's not refuses to work,
Yeah.
leave him.
Yeah.
Why
I
not?
agree with
That-
that.
that is the point. That is a
Yeah,
point. But
it's-
like, say if you like, if your partner had lost like their job or some money for like 6 months, I would still stand by them.
Oh yeah,
Like,
sure.
not making
That's why
a
I say-
habit of
That's
it,
what I'm
but I
saying.
would
But
say-
that's the reality of life. Like literally, some people may fall on. If you're committing to somebody, you're committing to them in their good and bad times.
Yeah, that's why I
So
said
if
refuses
it's
to
always,
work.
why would
Yeah.
you want?
You're-
I wouldn't
That's a
want a
good
partner
woman.
to have that pressure on them that I always have to be the boss. I always have to be providing.
But you
because
don't- you don't-
that's a lot of
do you as a
pressure.
woman,
You don't
like,
put it on
not want a little bit of pressure in your relationship.
No, it's not that. It's like, you know, a limp dick. It's not that.
No, I
It's
mean, like-
literally, I don't want you to have this, that I always have to be the alpha, the one that is doing everything. I don't, as a human to
you saying
human,
that
I
from
don't
a
want
male
them to have that pressure.
What I'm saying,
I don't want a heart attack.
Is behind
Stroke.
like in your relationship, would you not just not be attracted to your husband anymore if you felt that like I could just take my foot off the gas?
I've done that
Completely.
numerous
With-
times, but
okay,
so
with
has
what?
he.
With what though?
Work, career, my
But he's
businesses.
not going to be interested in that in you. I'm talking about like
How do you know?
I don't know because I know, because I feel I know, because he's going to be interested in like, you know, you being a mom. You
I am a
presenting
mum.
yourself exactly. You presenting yourself well,
And
If
I
you
have
were
a business.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah.
were just like to
And we
say,
can work together.
yeah, I understand that. But if you were to just say, like, that's it, like, you're just going to look after the kids, I'm going to take my foot off the gas with that. I'm just going to go and hang out with the girls, all those things. I'm not going to do my hair anymore. You have great hair. I'm not going to do my makeup anymore. And I'm just going to do what I want to do.
But that wouldn't be me being me.
okay,
To do that.
okay.
And those are the things where I'm like, actually, what about the person, the human inside?
But we should be with men that want to work and be better.
Yeah.
like
Of course.
yeah. So we shouldn't be dating guys that wouldn't want to work.
No,
And-
that as I said, not
Yeah,
a limp dick. It's not that. It's just if life is getting too much for you,
Yeah.
and you're with a partner, you should be able to speak to them and
Yeah.
be like, I may need a month out.
Are you saying this from the guy's point of view? So
Yeah.
the guy should be able to. Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's so you don't have to be this steam train that keeps on going and just keep on
I
being
would say
productive.
that's a sign of a good woman.
yeah,
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
I totally agree.
So why are they not talking about that?
Because
Well-
you're kind of talking about extremism in a way.
How is
These-
that
This day and age,
extreme?
this day and age, that is
average.
extremism.
Yeah, face the fact. The burden of
scenario.
performance is on men.
Yes.
Okay? Your gut knows, even when you pick the guy, whether this is a month off or this guy's a lazy fuck. There's a huge difference. Your gut, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So you staying with him for a month, are you really that fucking awesome? No, you know in your gut you got a good one, so you keep him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you thought he was trash, you would leave his ass. The burden of performance is on men. And that's what's so beautiful about it. Because it goes back to the hero thing. I don't want a woman I can't save. That's fucking boring. It's men's, like, it's in men to
I
want to.
think that's so bad.
But it's because women are so wonderful.
You don't want a guy that wants to.
You don't want a guy that wants
why
to
I
say,
think
"You
that's
want an
really
equal?"
bad. I
Is that what
brought
you're
it
saying?
up for a
She's not
reason.
looking.
Yeah, I'm not. But I mean, that man that has that savior complex in them, like, I'm going to keep on saving. Don't you think you're always going to buck up on the damsel? You're always going to buck up on the person
mean back up?
that you're going to
gonna
meet
come
up with.
across
That
like you're gonna-
energy-wise, you are going to meet that woman that is always in distress, and then after a while, you're going to be like, I'm forever saving this chick, and then she also is going to go to a space where she doesn't want to be saved.
It's not about
either.
saving.
It's such a toxic relationship to be like, I am always going to be the knight in shining armor. It just doesn't work.
I don't think it really works. Like, I mean, just speaking for myself, I don't think I go into it think I want to meet this girl to save her. I think it's you meet the girl, you're attracted to her for whatever reasons. You know, you're just attracted. You guys get together, you get on, and then the desire to protect comes out naturally.
Protection and saving
that's
is
right.
I
That's
think,
different things.
Justin
Yep.
isn't. I think different cultures, you're kind of misinterpreting each other a little bit. Like, he's not literally talking about saving. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, this girl's a heroin addict. I'm gonna get her.
No,
into
but it
a
doesn't
clique.
even have to be that.
No, but I'm saying
Talking
like the
about
way.
providing.
Yeah, he's talking about providing.
I
and
would
keeping her
say security is very different.
Provision and security.
Yeah.
Is this man gonna protect me? Right. Protect our house, our kids, that kind of stuff, and provide for the.
I would think that's masculinity. That's cool.
Bingo.
And I would also say that's what gives a man the fulfillment in the relationship.
Absolutely.
Nothing feels better than being that guy. I mean,
I
that's
agree
the
with you.
wonderful part of love.
But
You
the
know,
way you-
you get the same thing with children, I'm sure.
Yeah, the way you were making it sound was almost like we are targeting.
That's the main objective.
We are targeting women who are sort of like broken women because we
I think there are a lot of men that do because they go into I am the savior.
Yeah, because weak men are
And
the problem.
so you will attract somebody who is always in perpetual drama. And then after a while, they don't like you anymore because you're always there with the solution. And they're not after a solution because they're in that cycle of drama. And then you're also trying to save her all the
Well,
time.
I guess that's what
Terrible
Fresh and
relationship.
Fit are trying to teach, though, is to avoid those women.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing that dynamic doesn't happen a lot. It 100% does. But what I'm saying is that the desire to protect will come about anyway. It's not that I am targeting, like, say, broken women. It's just that
when love's there.
Yeah.
When love is there. And
Yes.
that's what makes it love for a man. And picking a broken woman is really most often just a mating strategy for a weak man.
Bingo.
The weak man can't hunt the healthy, amazing, top level woman. He's like, that bitch is limping. I'll go after her. That's
true.
It's easy pickings.
I agree.
Because he's not strong enough, not fast enough to actually get that woman that is up here, this kind of woman. I completely respect women. I got no beef with women. Smart, intelligent, funny. They make life amazing. I do think men and women are absolutely different. And the problem that we're having, and the reason those statistics are the way they are, is because we're trying to fit men and women in the same box when it's really more of a yin and yang that we can't live without one
definitely.
another.
Complementary.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna read some super chats. Ish, do you remember the last super chat I read by chance?
It was like something about STDs because I went and ran.
No, it was after that. Let's see. Oh, I think it was Sandra's. Yeah, okay. Okay, Sandra I'm sorry, guys. I always butcher you guys' name, and I'm gonna apologize. Sandra Salamine. Kevin Samuels also claimed to be a Christian, but he said high value men cheat. I wonder how the hell that conversation went with God.
Then you hadn't read the Bible.
Okay, that's a whole
There's a
other
lot of popes who cheated.
I gotta get through the super chats. Osmosis reacts. We get it. Move on, please. Just LOL. The red pill community has been infiltrated by polygamy pushers trying to convince all men they are high value and that they should be cheaters.
Are they talking about us, Justin?
Hold on.
Polygamy
Gwen-
pushers.
hold on,
Guys,
hold on,
guys, we have to ask you to allow Pearl to read all the super chats.
Gwenvo, question for Pearl. I love your content. I know you mentioned your dad was a top 1%. What was your family's experience with infidelity, if at all? My dad doesn't cheat, and I know no one in the manosphere believes me, but my dad is actually like the best person I've ever met. He doesn't drink. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't cheat. He's actually like literally a great person. So That's my answer to that. Sarah Garvey, hey Pearl, let them know our show is coming soon. Sandra Solomon, if your daughter comes to you broken because her man cheated on her, your first instinct as a father is going to be to protect her. That's when you're gonna figure out that cheating on your woman isn't okay. Okay, John 4040. If men had game like Mr. Lucario says, women love you for you even when you're broken, not only for your money. Even if he's a rich simp, they'll end up like Will Smith. Alberto Nando Retro. I call BS on Andrew Heard's story from day one. Depp wouldn't swat a mosquito if I bit him. Sandra Solomon. Women need to stop throwing their cats everywhere. If women locked it down more, it limits man's options. Women should stop being complicit. Dragon Stallion 1001. Lady in the Blue, the Fresh and Fit show is for men and women take in the information differently. Don't get upset at the message because you disagree with the delivery. Albert Retro, in defense of men in general, there's plenty of women out there who are plenty disrespectful to us, treat us like sperm banks, and an ATM. Get your own gender in order before you tell us how to behave. Sandra Solomon, if a woman wants to be comfortable with a non-cheater, do you think it would be more beneficial to look at the financial decisions making versus how much they make? AV, Myron is an a-hole older brother that loves you enough to tell you the uncomfortable truths that dramatically improve your life on. Honest Citizen, does endorsing monogamy make someone blue pill? Rolla Tomasi, Donovan Sharp, think before you sleep. Tyler the Fiend, all endorse monogamy. Stefan, Pierre Jerome, Fresh and Fit, always return energy that is given, and they also show how to be stern and direct with women. If they were to respond in soft voices and gentle tones, they would not be able to control the show. Okay, is that okay?
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, for sure.
I noticed that you said you're talking about your father, and I'm sure he's an amazing man. But every time you said he doesn't drink, he doesn't cheat, you said he's such a wonderful person. I would argue that if I'm honest enough to tell the truth and I support the other half and I kill myself trying to make her life wonderful, then I also am an amazing person.
Yeah, I didn't say you weren't a good person.
No, I'm just saying, because of contrast's sake. I'm not upset about it at all.
Okay.
Look, I get called a piece of shit all the time. So, no, it's fine.
By me.
But, yeah, yeehaw. But what I am saying is, like, being a good person and being monogamous are two different things.
Yep.
Your father and Rollo Tomasi and Donovan Sharp are a product of a zeitgeist that is about, let's say, 20, 30 years back. And that's where everybody came up and believed and lived and died by the sword of the Bible mostly, that monogamy was the only way. If your father, being a one percenter, or Rollo or Donovan, were 35 now, here now in 2022 with Instagram and women blowing their phone up all day, I argue that the likelihood of them being monogamous for 25, 30 years is substantially less, not because they're weaker, not because of anything other than each generation faces a new set of problems.
As many of you know, I was just banned on TikTok, and we are demonetized on a daily basis on this platform. If you want to help, please consider sending a super thanks below. Every donation helps, and it helps make what we do possible.